Hey man, just like all my sports content is always available on YouTube, all of my music is available on all streaming platforms as well. So y'all make sure y'all support the creator. Alright?
Watch when I drop this Taylor Bay, telling everybody pay me more. And I got a couple bands on me right now, I ain't gon' say no more. She fucked me in the studio cause I could make a chorus. See niggas in they feelings though, what the fuck you hate for?
The 2019 season will go down as one of the most disappointing seasons that I can remember as a Lions fan. There was so much hype headed into the season. Hype about Patricia and his genius, hype about Matthew Stafford having DerGoMobby, and hype over first-round pick T.J. Hawkinson. Hype. But after Matthew Stafford went down against the Oakland Raiders, the Lions failed to score more than 20 points in any game stretching from Week 12 to Week 17. I listened to so many fans and pundits dogging on the defense. I kept hearing this meaningless stat about the Lions having a lead in almost every game they lost. But 3-0 is a lead, and that doesn't explicitly mean that the defense is at fault for the loss, does it? Body for body, the defensive side of the ball had more injuries to starters than the offense, and I always wondered, who were the Lions expecting to beat with 17 points and no running game? I mean, I do get it, trust me. The defense allowed 26 points per game, and that is far beyond unacceptable, especially when you got a defensive coordinator as your head coach. But the offense only averaged 21, and that ain't going to beat anybody, especially when you don't have a run game to chew up the clock, so you can sit on your little 17, 18, 19 points. Lucky for Lions fans, it seems as if Bob Quinn has picked up on the true issue at hand. The football team is far too dependent on its quarterback. The Lions' ownership in the past has thrown castaway player after castaway player into a Lions huddle and told Matthew Stafford to make magic. From Brian Johnson and Nate Burleson to J.D. McKissick and Danny Amendola, the Lions have continuously made themselves self-dependent on Stafford's ability to make a wide receiver look good. I can't say for sure how much Danny Amendola has left in the tank, but the mindset and attitude he brings to this team is an added bonus. Amendola is that blue-collar, hard-working veteran that brings grit and energy to a locker room. He proved he can make plays last season, even with backups. And his relationship with the staff got him a second contract. But he's not going to win you a game. His one touchdown last year is all the research you need to do, especially with his target share and a starting wide receiver on IR. You see, what the Lions were missing was A, the ability to run the clock and secure a win, and B, the ability to run up the score and overcompensate for the bad defense. Now, people will say with Stafford, we scored 27 twice and 33 times and only had 3 wins and a tie to show for it. And those people, I tell you, you're absolutely right. So what was the problem? Well, the Lions were 16th in the NFL in run attempts. And while Lions fans will say that's a heck of a lot better than the days of Jim Caldwell and Jim Bob Cooter when we were ranked 31st, that's not all the issue. The issue is that the Lions were 16th in attempts, but only 21st in yards. That means a whole lot of these runs did absolutely nothing. It means most of the time the Lions ran the ball was a complete waste of time. The most interesting fact I saw this offseason was that the Lions were 5th in the NFL in third down conversions per game. And that sounds really good until you realize that the Lions were 18th in yards per play. So while the offense was able to convert on third down, they weren't able to generate big plays, even with a certain somebody leading the NFL in touchdown receptions. But while the fans foolishly think that Matthew Stafford alone will fix those problems, even though he's been here 11 years already and has been a part of some pretty terrible offenses himself in the last 5 years, Bob Quinn and most importantly DerGoMobby are actually attacking their weaknesses. Now, while that sounds basic, the offense by all means was the Lions' strength. It takes real self-evaluation in order to find the weakest part of your strength and attack it specifically. And for that, I give a lot of credit. You see, this is why I think that the Lions could have the most dangerous offense in the entire NFL. When the Lions decided to let go of Rick Wagner and Graham Glasgow, fans were left with mixed emotions. Most were ecstatic to hear we got rid of Rick Wagner, whom I liked, and angry to hear the Lions had given up on Graham Glasgow, whom I didn't. But again, to ownership's credit, the right side of our offensive line, mainly Glasgow and Wagner, were solely to blame for the fact that we were 16th in attempts and 21st in yards. Not to mention allowed 43 sacks when the league average was 40. But just ridding a team of players don't qualify as committing to the run. What they did was add Big V. He had a 76.4 running grade and is a true people mover. Then, on draft day, the Lions finally showed their commitment when they doubled up on guards, taking the Big Ten product Jonah Jackson out of Ohio State and the SEC menace, Logan Stenberg out of Kentucky. When I say Bob Quinn was specifically attacking the weakness of his strength, I mean this. Jonah Jackson in 2019, at 6'3", 306 pounds, had a run block grade of 77.8. He had 460 pass block snaps and 1 sack allowed, 0 hits, and only 9 hurries. He had 10 total allowed pressures in 460 snaps. Taking it beyond that, for his career, he's allowed only 1 lone sack or hit on 1,020 pass blocking snaps. That's how you attack 43 sacks, directly. And Logan Stenberg, standing 6'6", 317 pounds, as mean as a hungry dog, only allowed 1 pressure in 2019. Is also the most hated player in the SEC and was the best lineman on the 4th best rushing attack in the NCAA. Logan Stenberg gets off on run blocking and has film that's been described as offensive line porn. That's how you attack 21st in rushing yards, directly. Yet adding these guys alongside Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow, now you got a homegrown bunch of maulers to get moving on the ground game. And we all love Kerryon Johnson, but after 2 seasons of landing on IR and seeing absolutely no efforts this offseason to improve his body, I would be remiss to not give the floor to 2nd round pick DeAndre Swift. Because drafting blue chip talent at running back was something that Lions had done since Barry Sanders was brought to town.
We got to ask you, what do you think is your future?
I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about getting my shoulder right and enjoying the time with my teammates right now.
That's every kid's dream. I mean, especially coming from the city I come from, not a lot of good comes out of Philly. So just to make it out and be on this route that I'm on, I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. So I know my city is supporting me. So it'll be a blessing just to be a group among these backs, a lot of great backs in this class, but just to be at the top, be mentioned at the top is a blessing.
We spent lots of time talking about the quarterbacks in this draft. But what running backs do you expect to come off the board early this year?
Well, there's one running back in DeAndre Swift from Georgia. He's a special player. He can catch the ball. He's a slasher. He's got explosiveness. He really is a complete player.
DeAndre Swift, he's actually from Pennsylvania, and I got to see him play high school ball. That guy's special. He's very special.
How good? How good is DeAndre Swift?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm high as a motherfucker right now. Yo. And this beat, this is my young nigga made this beat, man. On God, he like 13 years old. But you know, I still ain't fucking sorry. Cause everybody I ever did wrong, you know you deserve that shit. Yeah. Right back to that madness, I'm gonna make it happen. Told my mama I'm savage, I'm still paper bagging. None of my niggas ain't actors, they can't wait for action. He don't see no way out, he just fake imagine. Hundreds all up when I spread, a lot of fuck niggas they dead. Nah, I ain't never been scared, bitch, I'm gon' take it there. Yeah,
Chasing this money, he gon' take his chances. He don't see no way out, he just fake imagine. So confused, how I know my trenches was the trenches, bitch, we on the news. Outside is detectives taking pictures, is they on to you? Watch how a soldier move. I pop out at this bitch out like I'm supposed to do. Got a one-way ticket to the feds, and he slide with a stick like hockey. Talk on the net, make him aim for your head. Make a nigga run home like Roger, 2 twin Glocks like 10 to there. And a hoe know I got options, too much money don't know where to spend it. Big roll full of blue binges, and a rocket to hit your noggin. Nice top look like Dennis Rodman's. She gets so much top shit topic. Pussy bomb atomic. Smoking on Rick and Morty. Put up like Ricky Bobby. And hell nah, real nigga ain't going like Beyonce. A nigga won't get me body. Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings.
With the 32nd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft.
Instead of those sturdy blockers and pluggers you're talking about on the defense line, they go for a flashy pick on the offensive side. So we'll see how Matt Patricia and company want to go. But ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. Let's find out where the Lions are going with the third pick in the second round.
Pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select DeAndre Swift, running back, Georgia.
Okay, this is an interesting pick here because DeAndre Swift is a guy who can do a lot of things out of the backfield. He waited his time at Georgia behind a lot of good runners like Nick Chubb and Sony Michel.
Simply put, Trey, this guy is a three-down running back, and he comes from an NFL style of running game down at Georgia, so he understands how to set his blocks up, how to be patient, and burst through the line of scrimmage. But make no mistake about it, what he does best is in the passing game. You talk about a running back that understands how to run the angle routes, how to get out and set up screens and do things in the passing game. You pair him with Kerryon Johnson, who they already have in Detroit. Now they have a 1-2 punch, a pounder, and a third down back that can also run the football and do it all, Mel. I love this pick for the Lions.
Any special message you want to share with anybody?
I'm ready to work. That's it. I'm ready to compete.
How about your parents, man? How you feel for them?
Happy they're here with me. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. They sacrificed so much with me, for me. So I thank them, and they owe them the world.
How you feel about the future?
It's going to be bright.
Another day in the life, D Swift, doing what we do, getting ready, staying ready, being blessed, beyond blessed, saying no more, all that, everything. That's what we do.
With the 35th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select DeAndre Swift, running back, Georgia.
And you know this better than anyone, man. You worked hard for this. You have put your entire life, every step you've walked into this moment.
Never gonna forget where I came from, ever. I'm a self-motivated young man. Never needed somebody to tell me to be here on that time, go here, do this. My grandfather was my motivation. He's my why. He still is to this day. It's forever going to be. He never got the chance to see me play ball, so this is why I'm doing it for him. And I know he's somewhere looking down, just proud of me. Being one of them select few to make it out, it means everything. Get my mentality from Philly, how I carry myself, how I play the game, know how to approach certain situations. Just having that Philly mindset just gets me every day. I didn't get here by myself. Thank my support system, my family, my friends, all my loved ones that helped me along this way. So God willing, when I make it, I'm going to take care of the ones that took care of me first.
You love to see it. But Swift is the only one working hard. Ty Johnson is putting in the work every day, trying to make his second season his breakout year. Injuries happen in this league. God forbid we actually need him to play, but if we did, I'm sure he'd be ready. And then there's Bo Scarborough. This guy's been in the spotlight his entire life. He's always been the top back, coming out of Alabama, but now he's a backup undrafted free agent that got a taste of the big leagues. And you can't imagine how hungry he is to be back at it. I don't know who to give the credit to, whether it's Bob Quinn for pulling the trigger, Matt Patricia for hiring the OC, or Darrell Bevell for demanding the players. But if the Lions have gotten one thing right this offseason, it was adding strength to this offense. Now, I would be a lie if I told you that fixing the running game was the only thing we needed to do. For years, the Lions have struggled at one point of their passing attack, and that's to create separation. Of course, Marvin Hall is still on the roster, and Hall proved to everyone that all he does is beat the defense for the deep ball. His speed is amazing, and he quickly made himself a fan favorite with the way he took advantage of his targets last season, exploding for big play after big play when the Lions really needed him. But what I really liked was the Lions drafting Jason Huntley. Now, honestly, I can't convince myself for certain that Jason Huntley is going to be a huge impact this season. I definitely believe he has the potential, though, to really wreck some games on special teams and third down. It's no secret that I'm rooting for Huntley to not only take Jamal Agnew's job as kick and punt returner, I'm hoping he takes the man's roster spot in general. I don't think Huntley is starter material on offense, however. I think he can really be a part of the regular rotation, though, sorta in the way we use Theo Riddick. The bonus being, Theo Riddick was a snail with glue sticks for cleats compared to Huntley and his speed. Riddick was very productive for a couple years and was extremely elusive, but he never ran a 4.3, and that's what Huntley brings to the table. I cannot wait to see him running right past linebackers and safeties. Lions fans thought J.D. McKissick was versatile. McKissick ran a 4.59 coming out of college. If ownership is right about Huntley, he could be McKissick and Riddick on steroids. You see, you have to be able to create separation in the NFL. But what confuses me the most is why every single season, the Lions media and fan base always seem to volunteer Marvin Jones Jr. away as trade bait. It baffles me that the only wide receiver on the roster that can create separation is that replaceable to these people, especially considering he catches contested passes just as good as any receiver in the NFL. PFF give Marvin Jones Jr. a wide receiver rating of 101.5, which places him 42nd among all wide receivers, which places him roughly as about a top 10 wide receiver 2 in the NFL. He was tied for first in the NFL in deep ball catches of 20-plus yards with 16 in 2017. He also caught 81.8% of his contested deep balls that year. Ending 2018 and 2019 on IR was extremely disappointing, but you cannot just forget that while somebody rose up and may have emerged as the best wide receiver on the team, Marvin Jones is still the bona fide most explosive player on the roster and our best deep ball threat. Before Stafford got hurt, he and Kenny Golladay actually shared the NFL lead in touchdown receptions. And if he would have stayed healthy, who's not to say that would have changed or would not have been the number one? What I like most about Marvin Jones, though, is that he has that DeAndre Swift mentality. dog. He lives football. He continuously puts in the extra effort to get better. And unlike Kerryon Johnson, he actually wants the fans to know that he takes this serious. He wants the fans to know that every day he's working hard to be that player we love on the field. And I don't know about you guys, but dudes like this are the type of dudes we should keep for as long as possible. I'm not saying throw him a bunch of money or overpay for him to stay, but he's more valuable on our roster in 2020 than a draft pick in 2021. But if I told you that Marvin Jones was the only person that is going to be hard to cover out wide, I'd be lying. TJ Hockenson is in year 2, and after a bad ending to his rookie season, though he flashed franchise player potential game 1 against the Arizona Cardinals, he really sputtered out the rest of the season. But like Marvin and Swift, Hockenson has been showing the fans how hard he's been working to improve. Hockenson has completely transformed his body and finally resembles that big body mismatch out of Iowa. He's working with one of the best tight ends in the league who just happens to be his college teammate in George Kittle. If any rookie from last season is expected to blow up in year 2, it has to be the 8th overall pick. And if hard work really does pay off, he should reap the benefits very soon. Matthew Stafford must have wet dreams about this offense. This is by far the most talented roster in the post-Calvin Johnson era. And dependent upon the play of some very young players, it may prove to be even more dangerous than that 2011 offense. We don't have Megatron on this one, no. But they didn't have Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift. It's like Javid Best and Kevin Smith 2.0. New and improved. Better than ever. We hope. But if not, then at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to stop one of the most dangerous connections in the NFL. Kenny Golladay is emerging as a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. While the national pundits aren't going to anoint him off one season, his career trajectory is clearly heading up. Not only has he stayed out of any negative media and coach bashing, he has improved every year, and he's been in the league and has vastly outplayed his rookie contract. Once a third-round pick, Golladay made an immediate impact his rookie season and beyond. He has star potential written all over him. If Matthew Stafford has time in the pocket to get the ball to Golladay where he wants it, and the running game is keeping defenders at bay, Kenny Golladay is going to look that much better and put up even more numbers. Imagine having to load the box and not seeing teams drop 8 in coverage on passing downs. This offense is set up to be extremely scary this year. I think for sure the Lions will have the best weapons in the NFC North, and when it's all said and done, this offense is going to shock the entire league in 2020.